Welcome back, everybody. In today's episode, we're going to be running some equipment, specifically my new BaumaLight cutter on our Bobcat E35 excavator here. And we're going to be trimming up some of the tree lines here around our property. I actually have not got to run this piece of equipment in a couple of weeks because we've been traveling and doing all kinds of other stuff. So I'm really looking forward to getting out here, trimming up some of these tree lines. They're calling for a lot of rain this week, and there's supposed to be a lot of rain moving in this afternoon. So I thought I'd get out here and just play around and trim some tree lines while I can. And since we're in a cab, if the rain does show up, not the end of the world. There's nothing I love more than getting out here and working our property, especially with awesome pieces of equipment like this. Alright, so I'm going to try to get y'all some different angles in this episode, and we're just going to run the equipment. If y'all like watching equipment like me, that's what this is all about. So I actually did some cutting a couple of weeks ago, and I'll include some of that footage in this episode as well. I had some people ask to see the footage inside the cab when I run, so I'll probably point the controls down and let you see that. I had people ask about that in the past when I'm running tractors and other equipment. This doesn't leave the cleanest cut on the limbs. I know that's going to drive some people crazy. I'm not an arborist. I'm just out here pruning literally miles of tree lines. And there's no way I'm going to come do all this by hand. So I have wanted one of these cutters and a mini excavator forever to help us tame our property. Alright, so a lot of these limbs that are on the ground, before I move the machine, we're just going to mulch some of them up, shred them. And then I like to come back with a tractor and actually completely shred them down to nothing. I find that's more efficient. Try something new. Oh, they just popped right off. Oh, that is so awesome. I'll make sure I don't catch my hydraulic hoses here. Look at that. Just busting off big oak limbs like they're not even there. So we'll give y'all kind of a first-hand look down here in the operator station. I've always had people ask me, what does it look like whenever you're doing all these controls, so you can kind of see how you've got to manipulate them. Basically, I'm a 40-year-old trying to figure out how to play video games. There's so many different movements and controls you can do in here, but you'd be surprised how quick and easy you learn it with time. And this is funner than a video game to me. Alright, so here's what's about to be satisfying to me. Look at all of these vines. I have them everywhere on the property and they're choking my trees out. There's nothing but scrub in here. I've lost probably 15 to 20 feet of property over the years right here, and we've just got these vines everywhere on the property. Even though they produce small little grapes, we have more than we could ever eat, and I have been so looking forward to clearing all this up. I hate vines with a passion. Wow. Oh my goodness, y'all. Look at the carnage. That was an unbelievably miserable job ahead of me that this and this just made enjoyable. I cannot get over how many vines were in here. Look at this. Everything you're looking at is just chewed up vines. Now I don't have it mulched down to the ground. I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna come up with a tractor mulcher and get this, because it just turns stuff down to powdery, just dirt. But I am a bit concerned all these vines may wrap around my mulcher drum. We're gonna have to figure that out. Oh, wow, what a nightmare of vines. So yeah, it took a little bit to work this down, but what other tool would do this? There's no way I would have come in here and got all that by hand. Y'all, the before and the after is just insanely different. So we're starting to make progress. I'll just come out here in some afternoons like this and just keep busting out an hour or two. Eventually we'll work our way around this whole section of property right here. Then we got to move into the trails. Then we got to move to the other side. Needless to say, I'm going to be doing this the rest of the winter. So check this out. I'm kind of nervous walking out here, but see, there's wasp nest all in here. I figured there'd probably be some yellow jacket nests buried in here, and it wouldn't surprise me if there is, because I see, oh man, I just see big bunches of just debris and stuff in there. I'm curious about that. I don't know if that's some kind of fox den or coyote hideout or what. Man, I hate stepping in all this. You don't know if it's a vine or a snake. Yeah, there is definitely a critter living up in here. I don't know if y'all can see. There's just a big bunch of junk matted up, and you can see fresh dirt where something's going up in a huge hollowed out log and it's building a house up in there. I don't know what that is. So look at all these vines, y'all. I still need to get in here and cut them all, but I literally just cut, I mean, hundreds upon hundreds of vines. And I was cutting off trees like this and some big trees over here. Check this out. I was cutting stuff bigger than what that BaumaLight machine says it's capable of doing with the flow off this machine. I'm impressed. Keep checking myself for ticks and stuff out here. I feel like everything's crawling on me. Look at this mess of vines. So look at some of these stumps. This was all oaks. I mean, this was oak trees, just ground them down to nothing. That was 3 stumps right there. There's a couple of oaks. I was able to just grind those down to the ground. That is so awesome. Yeah, we may just let all this die off for a while and then come back in here once I know the vines won't wrap up around all my mowers, and either mow it, the tractor mower, or run through here with the mulcher is what I really want to do. But I just think if I do it with all these green vines, I'm going to be pulling out around the drum. Speaking of, y'all, how on earth did I just mow all of this and not one single vine wrapped around that rotor? I kept being so worried about that, because typically when stuff wraps around, there's a bearing somewhere nearby, or it gets around the shaft and puts a load on the motors. This is a little different, being a hydraulically driven motor, but there's still things in there you don't want overheating. Not once did I see a vine wrap around that and stay. I was dead set I was going to get a mulcher for this until I talked with the guys over at BaumaLight, and they're like, you just really don't have the hydraulic flow for that. We don't recommend it. But they said this would probably be a really good option for your low flow machine. And I'm so glad I listened to them, because if I had tried to come into stuff like this with a drum mulcher with teeth, oh, there's just no doubt it would have wrapped all up around it. I really do believe this disc mower was 100% the right choice for this. Oh, I love it. Look in here, y'all. I just stabbed the mower into the woods and cut those. Some of those, that's all vines, by the way. I've tried to find where the big base of the big vines are that's just branching out everywhere. Some of those vines are 6 inches across that I cut. Talk about some monster old school vines. So now what'll happen, all the last of the vines up here that I didn't get mowed, well, because I've cut them off at the ground, they should wind up dying over the next few weeks. All right, y'all, hopefully you enjoyed it. I just wanted to do a fun machine running episode. I love watching stuff like this, much less creating the content. Thank y'all so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Tons of equipment videos coming. We have some really cool projects and cleanup and all kinds of stuff coming your way. Catch you on the next one.